Theater production. And my name is Matoke Hamilton. I'm the director. And you will be better on the lead of theater. Senior? Sawa sawa. Wapigie makofi wakuja jukwani.
He is a contentious brain that seems to question every aspect of life.
He has a shrewd brain that's thrown him in good stead in the struggle to rise to the rank.
Now to rise from a coveted position of a commercial manager at the Agribics Limited.
But why am I not successful? He really thought he was never successful.
He only thought of greater success of others, and even at the family front.
He felt it by nature.
And why don't I have a son?
To him, he prayed that he could get at least 3 sons.
But he ended up with 2 girls.
I want a son.
He wanted a son. Even more obnoxious with the fact that, despite of all his achievements, his brother,
Who
who was
remained
made
in
a
a
sinner, was considered the head of idol by the community. It hurt him.
But it did not bother him.
Because every cloud has a silver lining.
Nature rewarded him with a gem in form of a wife.
Gem!
My husband.
Oh. My wife. You know, from the first time that I saw you in that church service in Asila, I was stunned.
Come on, I was happy.
You know, from the moment that I saw you, I was obsessed. And now it has been 22 years down the line, and I'm still obsessed. And I'm very grateful to you for giving me my 2 daughters. That is Dayo and Resi. And speaking of them, where are they?
In the room.
Can you call them?
Tayo? Yes, Tayo. Come.
Dayo. And where is your sister?
She's in the bedroom.
Can you call her?
Restian! Restian! Yes? Papa is calling you.
Can you close that book? Nonsense! Resian, you still have the guts to come here in front of us in the room. Huh? Now can you take that book to your room? And go to the kitchen and start preparing breakfast. Am I clear? Now can you go? Get out of my sight. Nonsense.
Papa, I have something to tell you.
Something.
Yes.
Kid, listening? Huh?
So, as you know that I've been bringing home trophies in this Kendra Festival.
Yes, of course.
There is this broadcasting station that has discovered my talent that has invited me for a music extravaganza. Can I please go for bye?
Can you listen to me? No daughter of Olekaelo will so demean herself and her family to perform in public in next thing we report it again. It is one thing to perform in school festivals, but to perform in a public gathering is one short step to others. No buts. And I'm not having this kind of discussion again. Am I clear? Now can you join your sister in the kitchen? Nonsense. And as for you, I don't want musicians in my house. Am I clear?
Yes.
Agribics Limited had been on Olekaelo's main source of income, but now it was closing its doors on them.
Tayo?
Yes, Yayo.
Come.
Yayo, let me finish something. I'm coming.
Okay, sure thing.
My wife.
Yes, my husband.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How is your day?
My day. It was fine. It was fine.
Why do you do this stuff?
My wife. You know, there's something that was bound to happen. I just saw it coming.
What is it, my husband?
I have been retrenched.
What?
Yes. But don't worry. I have already planned for this. And I built a new house in the city. I want us to relocate. What do you think about the idea?
It's okay. Let me go inform our daughters.
Please do, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Jen,
Yes, ma'am.
I love
I love you.
Ayo stood in the shadows by the window. Her back to the room.
From her vantage position on the third floor of the building where the flat was located, she had a bird's eye view of the sprawling town.
Beneath her, she could see her father passing and moving around. He was gesticulating violently.
Apparently reprimanding the loaders from being slow and inept in carrying out the task before them.
Tayo knew her father well.
For he was not a man who cared to see his well-laid work plans delayed or
She
disrupted.
had noticed that he had become even more aggressive ever since the family alarm that he had been trained.
They were now being forced to vacate their house back to the rural town where they had moved many years back.
Although the distance could not allow her to hear whatever her father was telling the loaders, Tayo felt sympathy for the poor fellows down there.
For she knew the state of her father's town. And this reminded her of her own recent battle with her father when he denied her permission to travel to Mombasa with the other young men and women selected by the FM radio station to attend the extravaganza.
Stemming those thoughts out of her mind, she looked at the rooftop of Nakuru town.
A town that she was about to leave. Tears welled in her eyes. She blinked suddenly and rapidly.
Tayo did not hear her younger sister Lucian approach.
Tayo, what do you think life is going to be like in Nasila? For heaven's sake, Resian, how am I supposed to know? I suppose it's going to be very different from the kind of life I used to here, isn't it? Most likely so, yes. But it seems so very strange to be living in Nakuru town. Yeah, we have always known that it's our father's plan to end up in Nasila. That's why he built that shop he has always spoken about. But now that he has been retrained. Tayo, is something amiss? No, nothing's amiss. But I'm somehow worried, dear sister. What do you think will happen to us if the shop father intends to open does not become as successful as he hopes? Resian, I do not know any better than you, but I overheard Papa tell one of his friends that he's going to stock the shop with agricultural inputs. Nasila is an agricultural area, so business is bound to do well. Let's have faith and hope for the best. I do not want to work at the shop. I want to come back to Nakuru town and join Egerton University. I want to take a course in veterinary science and become a veterinary doctor. Yes. I'd like to read everything that is there to be read and wear a graduation regalia at the end of the 4 years. Yes. Yes. I'd like to be called Dr. Resian Kaelo. You ain't laughing at me, are you? No, I'm not laughing. You know, it has also been my ardent ambition to come back to the university. How nice it would be for me to let the both of us come. It would be wonderful. That is why you have to persuade Papa to allow us to come back to Nakuru and join Egerton University. I can't promise that such certainty is still no further stubborn nature. But he always listens to you, Tayo. Please try. Okay, I'll try.
Tayo, what on earth are you doing at the window other than helping me park? And you, go downstairs and check what your father is doing. Are we ever going to leave?
They have finished loading the lorries here,
Quick.
Here comes Papa. We better be found in the company of the before he spoils our day this chapter. Now, let's go.
Hey you! What are you doing here listening around? I'm not paying you for nothing.
Nothing, sir.
Can you turn that up?
Sorry.
Nonsense.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Ready to go?
Yes.
We must leave straight away if you want to get to Nasila early enough to offload the truck and arrange the new furniture on yours. Are we ready?
Yes.
But before we leave, I would like us to pray to ask God to give us journey mercies.
That short speech poignantly brought sense back to them. They were leaving Nakuru town, and this time it was for good.
Dear everlasting God.
Amen. Let's go.
This has been our home for 20 years. But now we'll be leaving. I'll miss my boyfriend.
three-seater minibus that Olekaelo had hired for them. The journey began in earnest.
Father and mother settled at the front seat, when the girls shared the back seat with other suitcases and luggage.
When Mama Mlanoe settled in her seat, the vehicle sped steadily out of Nakuru town.
And she gave a thought to the bigger picture of their relocation. And when her husband mentioned about his retrenchment, she was dumbfounded.
She began to see the brand new house and a well-stocked shop that her husband had promised to set up on the right side of Nasila town.
She saw a chance for family to share in the good fortune enjoyed by those who had already settled in the rural.
But above all, she knew that it would be easier to marry off her two daughters in the new town than in the melting pot Nakuru town.
Yes, two sons-in-law will catapult them straight into the center of the community affairs.
That's, however, a sensitive matter in the whole affair. Women friends from Nasila who came to visit her started asking her intrusive questions regarding her two daughters.
The names they used to describe her daughters came back to haunt her like tormented spirits of a past that was soon forgotten.
And circumcised girls. For Simele, Olekaelo's two daughters had occupied two separate places in his heart. Tayo, his eldest, was his pride. She was the proof of a fatherhood.
And when his wife became pregnant the second time, he prayed adamantly for a healthy baby boy, but this was not to be.
So at 18, when Mama Mlanoe was so young, she got married to Pastor Olekaelo.
And Mama Mlanoe's parents always prayed for a well-to-do son-in-law, especially from a well-known family. And so they accepted Pasimei Olekaelo, and so did she without any resistance.
While Olekaelo started knowing about Resian, Tayo was keen and symmetrical. Signs of early womanhood were evidence in Resian. Minutes later, the journey began in earnest. A few kilometers from Nasila, the vehicles broke down. The crew alighted and swung into action. The vehicles were rolling into the small town of Nasila. The gates of Paposimiren swung open, and a crowd of jubilant relatives came out to receive them.
My wife.
Yes.
This way, please. You're ready here. Oh, brother!
Yeah,
Brother, yes, yes, I'm fine. I hope you could come to them. Yes, brother, yes.
My people of Nasila! My people of Nasila, come!
This is your wife, yes.
Yes, as you all know, my brother's been away for 30 years now. And I have always acted as the head of the Millennial clan. When there were entertainments performed, such as the incision of girls, circumcision of boys, and betrothal ceremonies, I was always there to represent my Since I was young, there has been no any dispute between my brother and I, simply because I respect him. Even though my brother has only one wife and two daughters, and I have 4 wives and 16 children. Yes, I still respect him and is the only joy of this community.
Yes, brother, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Yes, you know, people. Yes. Now this is my lovely wife. Yes, as you can see, brother, big up to her. Brother, they say I'm a baby. Yes, baby. Brother. Yes, I have my first wife in the water. This is my first wife. I can see her. Yes, this is my first wife. Thank you, welcome, brother. Yes, these people are waiting for you. Yes, of course. Especially this boy.
We were waiting for you.
Yes, yes, brother. My wife, Nasila. Yes. Can I tell you something? Yeah. Something so sweet. Hey. My lovely wife has told me that food is ready, so we can join that side. Yes, he went down. She said
clutter that until their ears had long. And now, Tayo lazily got to her bed and sneakily dropped herself at the window. And when she opened the shutter, the bright morning sunlight suddenly flooded the room, and from a distance, she could hear a lot of activities taking place within the neighborhood. But what captivated her the most was the cool natural environment created by giant trees which grew between the houses. Rezianto stiffly left her bed and joined Tayo at the window. Apart from the house they had spent the night in, 3 other main houses stood within a well-trimmed key, upward perimeter hedge. She guessed the 4 houses belonged to her 4, and soon they were told the previous night were the wives of their uncle.
I hope our home will look like this. Yes, it's so quiet and peaceful. It's a home one would look for to come at the end of a college semester. Exactly.
Tayo, Rezian.
Yes?
Have breakfast.
Now, seeing that they had the whole morning to themselves, Tayo and Rezian told their mother that they wanted to take a walk around the neighborhood after breakfast. Their mother permitted them, but warned them against strangers who might take advantage of their familiarity.
Tayo, I am loving this serene atmosphere. It's so beautiful. And by the way, what did you make of the uncle's home? Honestly, I don't think all is well. Beneath the veneer of apparent happiness, I detected some apprehension. A certain rivalry of some sort between the 4. What a terrible person you are, dear sister. You're not free to be a guest in anyone, so how dare you make such judgments? I thought the life is in the past.
Papa is forced by his classmates that we should undergo the ritual.
I don't know. I don't even want to imagine what will happen to us.
That is why you have to persuade Papa to allow us to go back to Nakuru and join Egerton University.
I'll do that soonest, dear sister.
How soon is next time, yo?
Hush, dear sister.
Now you are in the house. Yes, I need to practice more. Yes, that is it.
And so Mama Milanoi, the perfect hostess, wore a purple silk dress and was moving from one group of revelers to another when suddenly Tayo's eyes caught sight of a young and tall man who was moving across the room towards her direction. She recognized him, and her heart missed a beat. Momentarily, his bright eyes met her. They were perfectly set for a young and handsome. Mama Milanoi let her maternal instinct direct her to the place where her daughter was standing. She saw 2 things happening simultaneously. 1, her daughter Tayo was talking to a stranger, and the second thing was that her husband was watching them.
One can never tell you Olekaelo. He can be a dreadful spoilsport at times.
Olekaelo, however, did not interfere.
How beautiful my daughter looks. She's the very image of me at her age.
She let her mind wander and wander.
I wonder what would have happened if I found a young man, young enough as the one my daughter is talking to, fallen in love, and eventually got married.
Yes, excuse me, Mama Milanoi. Do you know that young man that is talking to your daughter?
No? Is he a bad boy?
Far from it. In fact, he's one of the most dependable young men that we have in Asila.
That's nice.
Now, they need to be told, but remember this, you are wrong again.
Why? Does he have a vicious wife?
No, you see that young man by the name Joseph Omwat? He's a brother. Joseph Omwat is a brother to your daughter. Joseph Omwat's father is from the Ilmolilental of the Ilorasha Kinedi subclan, like ourselves. Therefore, it is not only great abomination if you allow that ignorance to be separate from the Sila cultural values, but the illicit contact is a taboo that's bound to have untold consequences. Let us go on to the Come. Yes, excuse us. Yes, brother Joseph Omwat, and more especially Tayo. I hope you have known each other.
Yes.
That's good. Now it is simply this.
Joseph, or what?
Yes.
You see, Tayo is your sister. The same way, Tayo. You see Joseph from what your brother, okay? So, Papa, more especially Tayo is your sister. Keep that in mind, okay? Tayo, brother. Brother Papa, Joseph from what? Your sister. Same way, your brother. Your sister.
Brother Pamwa, your brother.
Yes. Nasila is a Ma house. And anybody born of Ma is entitled to his own shelter. Nasila is the blood and marrow that gives sustenance to the body. And the body is the collective masses of the Ma. Olekailo here. It's like a strand of air that has been blown away by a gust of wind. And the same wind has blown it back to its owner's head. And if the head refuses to collect the hair, it will be trampled upon the ground. For the founders say, when a rat begins to smell, it returns to its own mother's home.
Home is never far from one who's still alive.
And speaking of home, Olekailo here should be told, home is not this house. However magnificent it is, home is Ma.
Home is Ma.
Home is Nasila.
Home is Nasila.
Home is children.
Home is children.
And home is family.
Family.
Kill one of the four pillars and you will not have home to speak about. Where are the women and men of Nasila? Hey! Raise the wife and daughter of Olekailo. Bring them back to Nasila fold. Where are the elders of Ilmolelian? This is your man. Cut him loose from the snares of an alien culture. And where are the daughters of Olekailo? Well, where are the daughters of Olekailo?
Well, here they are.
Listen to me. Do not listen to the crusaders who are going on perpetrating that we should maintain Intoie Nimengalana duty in our daughters. Daba! May she go down with the setting sun. Down! My daughters. What are your names?
Tayo.
Tayo. And you?
Nambresian.
My daughter, Tayo. I prophesy you will be the next man of the next leader of Nasila.
Hey!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the wise one. Now that I beg that we all go in.
Wait, brother.
Oh.
Now welcome back to Nasila. Yes.
Now let me bless you, my son.
Yes. As I was saying, let us go in and continue the celebration.
Hey!
This way, please. Yes, you can go. Yes, come. This way.
Joseph, from what?
In the living, she felt justifiably separated from her sister.
Isn't that natural? After all, we're not kids, so we'll be physically separated. But when I stood with Joseph from what in the living room, I was restless. She was in love.
Later that night, lying her back to her sister, she allowed her mind to float, fitting in. It was a long night for both girls, each one of them away, but in deep thought.
Now where was the Bapali culture? Where was the people of life is in Jakarta and of justice in this life? She wept until she knew what she has left in her eyes. She was angry. I'm angry at everyone in Asila. But most especially her uncle,
Simiren,
whom she blamed for ruining her relationship with Joseph.
the mere mention of Joseph Pamoa evoked delightful feelings in her heart.
I wonder if Joseph Pamoa is thinking about me right now.
But all hope was not lost.
He said he's going to visit.
This young question grew us.
They beat her heart like a bruising aftermath of a blow.
I do not want to undergo the car.
The fact of circumcision of getting him.
At all levels, that we should undergo the
She shuddered. When she recalled a certain day when Kamuratani visited her home with other village women.
She was an old woman of about 60s who back stood straight.
The most startling things about her were her eyes. They were bright,
Clear.
and inquisitive.
But what sent Shiva into Resia's stomach was the Umurunya.
It was a blade like two shaped like a smoothing blade.
And you recall a young man who nearly accosted you.
Yes! And when he one day grabbed me and take me to the Enkaburatani and let the old Murunya transform into a decent woman.
But our only ally will be a sister for not persuading their father to allow them to go to Egerton University.
I trusted Tayo to persuade Papa to allow us to go back to Nakuru, but she has not even tried.
You need to persuade her even more.
It was morning when the two girls went to prepare breakfast.
It was morning again in the master bedroom of Pasimei Olekaelo and Mama Milano.
It's wake up time, my dear.
Really? That was the shortest night I've ever had.
Because we are all very tired. Hosting that ceremony greatly sapped our energy.
It was an exhausting day. I'm glad it's finally behind us.
You know as much as I do. The demands of the culture we have now been ushered into, huh?
I know, but don't you think we should have our family's interests at hand first?
What do you mean? I hope you don't mean that our culture comes second, do you?
I don't mean that. Our culture is everything and it rules our lives.
Good. Now listen. You must immediately start counseling the girls to understand their roles as potential wives of men of Nasil. Am I clear?
Sure, my husband.
Oh.
Good morning, Dubai.
Morning to you. Go to Tayo. Go to Tayo.
Yes, my husband?
Can you look at this daughter of yours? When Tayo is working herself to the bone, she just lazes around like an overfed lizard in the hot afternoon sun.
Would you please?
Will you sit upright like a respectable man? Look at the slits and slouch on that chair like a good-for-nothing lout. I'll not be surprised if you soon become a hunter. Nonsense. Can you take that book to your room? What's wrong with her? Don't want to. Tayo!
Yes, Papa.
The breakfast, please.
I'm bringing.
Thank you. Come on.
I love you, Mother. No, I don't want us to take our break from here. Today I have a very good surprise for you. For you and my daughter here.
What about Resian?
Yes, of course. Tayo.
Yes.
Can you? No. Resian. Resian.
Yes, Papai.
Can you clear the table? Nadia. That's it. Come on, let's go. Today I want to take you somewhere. Huh? Come on, Tayo.
What about Resian?
Don't worry about her. She knows the way. Come on, let's go.
Resian, come, let's go.
Come on, let's go. You remember where we were?
That morning, so your father will be so happy to see. Wait until you see how your father, in fact, I'll tell your father that he has a beautiful daughter, a hospitable daughter. Not bad, not bad. Who else is in the house?
My mother.
Oh, your mother.
Yes.
Oh. Your mother. Well, perhaps you should tell your mother that I'm here to see your father.
Okay, I'll do just like that.
That's great.
What an ill mannered devil this man is.
Who was it?
A man that says his name is Olosidori and he's here to see Papai.
Oloisudori? I don't think I've heard a man with that name.
Whoever he is here, he's an useless, irrespectable man.
Resian. Soon you're going to embarrass your father by the way you speak. Do you remember how you horrified your Eboto the other day when he spoke like one of demented spirits?
But surely, you. Mustn't one mention the despicable manners of an old man who behaves badly in front of a young girl young enough to be his own daughter?
However disreputable the man might be careful, Resian. You do not know the connection he has with your father. It will be catastrophic if your child will not severe his relations with men. Now do this. Go back to the living room and offer him a cup of tea or something to drink. Make him feel comfortable.
It must take any long for you to decide whether to give me a cup of tea or no.
I'm sorry, but we always serve tea to our visitors, even if our mother has not asked us to.
Well, in that case, I must say that I'm very sorry for my mistaken thoughts. And, what's your name?
Resian.
Oh, Resian. Resian and Kaelo.
See you later, brother.
Yeah, your Papa is home.
Hey, what is wrong with you? Why do you run like one who has seen a ghost?
I am terribly sorry, Papa, but there is a man who has come to see you.
A man?
Yes, Papa.
Is he a carnival that runs so reckless? Huh?
No, Papa.
And what is the man say?
He said that his name is Mr. Edward Oloisudori.
Oh my God. Mr. Edward.
Yes, Papa. And he was saying...
Shut your mouth. Mr. Edward, of all people, I wonder what has gone wrong for him to come looking for me. Mr. Edward.
Ah!
What an unexpected pleasure to have you in my
The
humble house.
pleasure is all all mine, Brother Olekaya.
Oh, please, have a seat.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Resian, where is your mother?
She's in the kitchen preparing lunch.
You see, I told you that your father will be so happy to see me.
Yes, of course. Dr. Tayo. Dr. Tayo.
Yes, my husband.
Come here at once.
This is great.
Resian.
Not bad.
No, have a seat, have a seat. Have a seat. Mr. Edward. Mr. Edward. My lovely wife. My wife.
Thank you.
This man here is Mr. Edward Olosdori Longia. You see, this man has helped me get some few contracts, and we are still organizing others. Isn't that right, Mr. Edward?
That's right.
And this man is the one who helped me with the financial stability that we are now enjoying here in Nasila. So this man here is more than a brother to me, and there is nothing. And I repeat, nothing he ought to be denied in this home. Am I clear?
Yes,
Now,
I get it. Mr. Edward,
Yes.
welcome and feel at home.
Thank you.
My husband, I
Yes.
beg to leave your presence. I was busy doing some stuff in the kitchen.
of course, you're free.
No problem.
Just have them.
Not bad. Brother Olekaya.
Yes. Mr. Edward,
Yes, that's business.
business is fine. Everything is going smoothly.
Oh, great.
And if I may ask, what brings you at this time at my
Well,
humble?
as I said earlier,
Yes.
business is doing great.
Business is good.
And you're doing great.
Yes, of course, I'm fine.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Now, Brother Olekaya.
Yes.
See, I am interested in your daughter, Resia. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yes, you heard me. You see, I also have another friend of mine who will be also interested in your other daughter. In fact, will be released off your two daughters.
Mr. Edward, please. Can you ask me of anything else? Anything. Anything. But please. Please spare my daughters. Please.
Okay. Are you not the one who just said here that there's nothing I should be denied in this house? Oh, you are just pulling my legs.
No, Mr. Edward, I wasn't pulling your legs.
Now, great.
But you know it is my responsibility as a father to take care of my own children. You know that, Mr. Edward.
Of course, I know. Now, listen. I've given you some few weeks for you to decide. And just remember that the wealth you have is because of me. This house you are living is because of me. The shop that you have, don't forget that. Now, let's have a walk. So, how's business? Please, carry this. Let's have a walk. Let's have a walk.
Yes, of course, Mr. Edward.
Yes, great. I say, you are doing great.
Yes, I'm fine.
Yes, that's great. That's great. I see. Oh, you have a new hairstyle. That is great. I see, Brother Olekaya. You see, I've never seen